Before the 2000 NBA season,
2000
Shaq was never in great shape. In his first 7 seasons, he used to eat unhealthy, drink, and party hard, even before the NBA Finals.
And then you run into a
With
team
the
and them in
Magic?
the finals.
I thought he started
That
eating
was my fault we lost, because as a leader, I didn't lead. After we beat the Bulls, I let up. We had 8 days off.
Man, they say he was
Me
born
and
in
G. Scott were doing stuff we weren't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But then, everything changed with the arrival of Phil Jackson in 1999. Under Jackson's tutelage, O'Neal became an unstoppable force, weighing in at 345 pounds, destroying rims and opponents across the league. We've never seen a human being so large move on the basketball floor with that kind of quickness and agility.
For Shaquille O'Neal to be as big as he is and carry that load, Shaq has some impeccable footwork. Shaq wasn't trying to finesse. He got to a spot and he was just like, called us.
In 2000, Shaq achieved career highs in most statistical categories, broke records, and had arguably the best finals performance ever. This is the story about Shaquille O'Neal's MVP year, and arguably the most dominant season in NBA history.
I forgot Shaq only got 1 MVP. That's nasty. Look, man, like, comment, subscribe, but let me know who y'all want me to discover next, or let me know who y'all want me to react to next, man. You know what I'm saying? Any legends, let me know in the comments, man. But,
Shaquille O'Neal was the first overall pick in 1992, and in his first 7 NBA seasons, he averaged 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks per game, shooting a league-best 58% from the field. The Big Diesel finished top 10 in MVP voting during each of those 7 seasons, with 1 scoring title, 1 trip to the NBA Finals, and 6 All-NBA selections. However, between 1992 and 1999, Shaq also starred in
first of all,
3 movies, recorded 4 rap albums, and appeared in countless commercials. His lifestyle was far from a model athlete, and O'Neal never reported to training camp in shape. And even though everybody liked Shaq, the general consensus was that he was another spoiled superstar, one who cared more about himself than the success of his team. Shaq couldn't win a championship, and to make things worse, he got swept from the playoffs 5 times. Many former players started to criticize him, including NBA legends such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton, as well as the Lakers GM Jerry West.
see, how you gonna say that though when y'all play with other Hall of Famers? Shaq wasn't playing with other Hall of Famers though. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just say that.
And his teammate Kobe Bryant. However, during the 1999
now.
offseason, everything changed. After getting coached by 5 different coaches in his first 5 seasons and failing to see eye to eye with most of them, Shaq was elated when the Lakers announced Phil Jackson as their next head coach. A 6-time champion with the Bulls, the Zen Master had the know-how and the credentials to lead a team with the feuding Shaq and Kobe, and was one of the rare coaches in the NBA that O'Neal truly respected. During his visit to Montana, where he had a concert, Shaq decided to pay a visit to his new coach, who lived 10 miles away. When Shaq got there, Jackson wasn't home. But when he arrived shortly after, he caught the 7'1" big man staring at all his championship trophies. "You know, you can get one of those if you listen to me," was the first thing that Phil said to Shaq when he entered the room. "I believe you," Shaq replied. And then, to O'Neal's surprise, Jackson started to talk about his property, about a problem he had with a huge fallen tree, asking Shaq's help to move it. "He's there pulling the tree with a boat, and I'm pushing the tree. Then he told me to hang on to the tree as the boat kept going and going. And then I had to swim back to shore from this damn island, which was very far. I don't know how far, but it was far. And you know what I'm thinking? This man is challenging me."
They're like, man, I ain't moving them. He probably wouldn't have coached.
Now, Shaq grew up as an Army brat, and he didn't respond to soft words. So the only way to reach him was with authority and discipline. Jackson knew it. So when Shaq finally reached the shore, he asked O'Neal how much he weighed. Shaq was somewhat embarrassed, and he didn't even know his true weight, which always ballooned up during the offseason. "I want you to lose 15 pounds. The bigger you are, the harder it's going to be on your knees. And I want you playing 40 minutes a game." Shaq agreed. And the next time they saw each other at the start of the Lakers training camp, the Big Diesel was in the best shape of his career. Weighing 345 pounds, O'Neal was pure muscle, and he...
Hold on, so you telling me he was 360, 370 walking around? He was almost 400 pounds?
He looked intimidating.
Phil Jackson came in the first championship, I was 345.
But after he got on the same page with O'Neal, Phil had a much harder task, and that was reaching through to Kobe. Bryant was a basketball-absorbed narcissist who believed he was the best player on the team, aspiring to be the greatest to ever do it. Kobe wanted to have the ball at all times and score as many points as humanly possible. So he was unpleasantly surprised when Jackson announced the team would be running the triangle offense and that most actions would be run through Shaq. Every great team has a 1-2 punch. This is your team, Shaq. And Kobe, you're going to be our floor leader. If you guys don't like that, let me know now and I'll trade you. You're gonna do what I say, and if you don't, you're out of here. O'Neal was thrilled to hear that. Kobe, much less so. When the team started practicing the triangle offense, which involved all 5 players on the floor, Kobe was the odd man out. He didn't want to accept that the triangle ran through a center, and he kept dribbling, trying to beat his man one-on-one and score out of double teams. It had gotten so bad that Shaq developed a secret sign with the rest of the Lakers to shut Kobe down and not pass him the ball. But then, during a preseason game against the Wizards, Kobe injured his wrist and was ruled out of action for 6 weeks, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Without Bryant trying to be a hero, messing up the flow of the game, the triangle worked like a charm for the Lakers, who jumped to the top of the Western Conference after their first month of the season, with an 11-4 record. Shaq was playing better than ever, averaging 29 points, 13.5 rebounds, and a career-high 3 assists per game. And even though everybody always thinks of Shaq as this giant brute who dominated because of sheer strength and only scored from dunks, this was far from the truth. The Big Diesel had a refined offensive repertoire of spins, hooks, and short turnaround jumpers, which he could score turning left and right. Now, while his footwork certainly wasn't on the level of Hakeem Olajuwon, it didn't have to be, as Shaq was so quick and agile for his size that the opponent Olajuwon, it didn't have to be, as Shaq was so quick and agile for his size that the opponents were helpless once he caught the ball deep in the post, which was almost inevitable. His most famous move was dubbed Black Tornado, and it was basically unguardable because O'Neal would use the defender's momentum against them by quickly spinning in the opposite direction of their pressure when they lean into him during a post-up. It was like watching a sumo wrestler doing ballet, as nobody that big could move that fast in a split second. However, the biggest change about Shaq in 2000 wasn't on offense, but on defense. The Big Diesel was always a solid defender, but never a great one. However, with excess weight shed off and the newfound commitment to be the best player on both ends of the court, O'Neal was flying. He got way better at defensive rotations, and his help defense stifled opposing guards who wanted to score in the paint, resulting in a career-high 3.5 blocks per game during those first 15 games. And his averages would have been even better if he hadn't been ejected in the first half of a game against the Rockets after an infamous fight with Charles Barkley. However, when Bryant returned to the lineup at the start of December, the same problems emerged. Even though the Lakers kept winning games, posting a 20-1 record with Kobe in the lineup, the team chemistry was horrendous. Nobody on the team liked Kobe, who kept mostly to him.
Man, stop it, man. Y'all can't be lying on Kobe like that, bro. Understand they want him to pass, but 20-1? We winning. Why you ain't liking me? Stop hating.
Himself, never engaging with the team outside of basketball.
Some of your teammates talking bad about Kobe.
He's not an engaging person.
Harper, yeah, they were sitting there talking shit, and Kobe was right here. And they're talking shit. I'm seeing Kobe like this.
Furthermore, the Lakers' third-best player, Glenn Rice, didn't like the triangle, and like Bryant, he often steered outside of the team concept, trying to hunt his own shots. During January, the Lakers lost 6 out of 9 games, including a 24-point spanking by the defending champions, the San Antonio Spurs. And despite still having the best record in the league, the Lakers were on the brink of implosion. They were openly shopping Rice across the league. And if the players had the power to trade Kobe, he'd be gone in a second. We were at our bottom. Sometimes in the course of a season, you wonder if maybe this just isn't going to work.
Someday we're gonna trade Kobe, nigga. You smoking rocks if you think that.
That's where we were, Rick Fox. But then, on February 4th against the Jazz, who knocked LA out of the playoffs twice in the previous 3 years, the Lakers played their best game of the season. Shaq blocked 4 shots in the first quarter. Kobe was hunting down everybody on the perimeter, and the Lakers destroyed the Jazz, ending up by 35 points at the half. The final result looked surreal, as the Lakers only allowed 67 points, ultimately winning by 46, which was the 9th biggest margin of victory in franchise history. After that game, the Lakers' morale was restored, and the team went on a 19-game win streak, allowing 100 points just 3 times during that span, with a 14-point average margin of victory. It was the 3rd longest win streak ever at the time, and in the 14th game of the streak, Shaq played the best game of his career. On March 6th, against the LA Clippers, playing on his 28th birthday, O'Neal was unstoppable. He tossed the Clippers around like they were middle schoolers, making 24 out of 35 shots, en route to a career-high 61 points and 23 rebounds. O'Neal's 61-point game was the last game in NBA history that a player scored 60 or more points without hitting a three-pointer, until Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 64 points against the Indiana Pacers in 2023. For the season, O'Neal averaged a career-high 29.7 points, which secured him his second scoring title, doing so in a league-leading 57.4% shooting from the field. He was also second in the NBA in rebounds with 13.6 and third in blocks with 3 rejections per game. His 3.8 assists per game were another career high and the best mark in the league among centers. And if you combined his points and assists, O'Neal directly contributed to 40% of all Lakers points that season. LA finished the season with a 67-15 record, which was the 6th best result in NBA history, doing so with the best defensive rating in the NBA, after they finished with the 23rd best defense the year before. Due to his improved defense, Shaq finished second in voting for Defensive Player of the Year behind Alonzo Mourning. But when it came to the MVP award, there was no debate. Shaq was the best player in the league by a wide margin, and he should have been the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. But Fred Hickman, the reporter for CNN, gave his first place to Allen Iverson, who averaged fewer points than O'Neal on 42% shooting, with his team winning 18 fewer games than the Lakers.
I would have been the first ever unanimous decision MVP. But this idiot, got his name?
Fred Hickman.
Yeah, Fred Hickman.
Fred Hickman.
Stupid.
What is you doing? Oh, goofy.
I mean, idiot gives 2 votes to Allen Iverson and he messes up history. Idiot.
However, the Big Diesel had bigger fish to fry than to worry about one
shit,
MVP
man,
vote.
about that
In the first round of the
idiot.
playoffs against the Kings, Sacramento pushed the Lakers to a deciding Game 5, back when the first round was still decided in a best-of-5 series. With their season on the line, Shaq responded in a big way, dominating the Kings with 32 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks to lead the Lakers to the second round. There,
Shaq
against
was
the
just
Suns,
putting up
the Lakers had a much
nasty
easier
numbers,
task,
bro.
eventually winning the series in 5 games, with O'Neal averaging 30 points and 16 rebounds per game. But
Right,
then,
what?
in the conference finals, a much harder opponent waited, the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, the Blazers didn't have the star power that the Lakers had, but they had more depth, led by veterans Scottie Pippen, Steve Smith, Detlef Schrempf, and Arvydas Sabonis, who was a perfect front court partner to their only all-star, Rasheed Wallace, who was in his prime. However, in Game 1, O'Neal dominated with 41 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 blocks. In the final quarter, unable to deal with Shaq, the Blazers started to deliberately foul O'Neal, using the famous hack-a-Shaq tactic, relying on Diesel to continue with his shooting struggles from the free throw line, as he only shot 52% in the regular season. But their tactic backfired, as Shaq made 12 out of 25 freebies in the fourth, shattering the NBA record for free throw attempts in a quarter, leading the Lakers to a 15-point victory. But in Game 2, O'Neal had very little help, as the Blazers crushed the Lakers by 29 points in the Staples Center. Against all the other teams in the league, Shaq and the Lakers had a size advantage under the basket. But playing against the 7'3" Sabonis, who got help from the 6'11" Wallace, Shaq suddenly looked human again. In the first half of Game 3, Sabonis and Sheed held O'Neal down to just 8 points, as he looked uncharacteristically passive, as the Blazers led by 10 at the half. "You're playing terribly. You're not aggressive at all," Phil Jackson yelled at Shaq at halftime, and it woke the big man up. In the second half, O'Neal scored 18 points, leading a Lakers comeback, with Kobe sealing the 93-91 victory with a last-second block on Sabonis. In Game 4, Shaq scored 25 points, and the Lakers had 3 other players scoring 18 points or more, and with another victory, it looked like they were heading to the finals. But the Blazers had other plans. In Game 5, O'Neal scored 31 points with 21 rebounds, but other than him and Ron Harper, no other Laker could buy a bucket, and the Blazers kept their hopes alive. In the following game, Kobe had the best game of his playoff career, scoring 33 points on 12 for 24 shooting. But it came at the worst possible time, because Shaq played the worst game of the season, scoring just 17 points, despite playing the full 48 minutes. O'Neal was barely existent in the fourth quarter, taking only 1 shot and scoring just 4 points. And when Game 7 started, Shaq and the Lakers couldn't snap out of their funk. O'Neal was working hard to get the ball, but when he finally caught it, he was surrounded by several Blazers players, and Big Diesel couldn't dominate like he did the whole season. In the first half, Shaq attempted just 4 shots for 9 points, as the Blazers held a 3-point lead. In the third quarter, it was even worse, as O'Neal didn't score a single point, and Portland's lead ballooned to 13. With 10 minutes to go, the Blazers were up by 15, and it seemed like another year went down the drain for Shaq and Kobe. But then, Sabonis picked up his 5th foul and left the game, and Shaq was finally able to catch the ball deep in the post. This freed up the rest of the Lakers, who could feast off Shaq's passes from the post, and they finally started making some shots. On the other end, Portland kept missing, and miraculously, the Lakers got back in the game. LA took the lead with 2 minutes to go, and in the final minute, they had a 4-point lead and the ball, after which a legendary moment happened between Kobe and Shaq.
Portland has 3 timeouts left, the Lakers have 2. Bryant to Shaq!
The Lakers survived the most dangerous team in the playoffs, and despite struggling at times against Sheed and Sabonis, Shaq still averaged 26 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks in the series, hitting 54% of his shots. Those numbers look even better if you consider that the Lakers averaged only 93 points per game in the series, meaning that Shaq scored or assisted on 38% of their points. Not to forget that he always put teams in foul trouble, which made scoring easier for his teammates. And in the finals, the Lakers faced the Indiana Pacers, who were a good, scrappy team. But they didn't have anybody who could stop O'Neal down low. Shaq dominated the first 2 games in the Staples Center, finishing with 43 and 19 in Game 1 and with 40 points and 24 rebounds in Game 2.
The first 2 games of the finals? I think I averaged 40 and 20 rebounds. Bruh.
As the Lakers took a 2-0 lead. However, in Game 3, Indiana bounced back, largely due to the absence of Kobe Bryant, who sat out due to an ankle injury, after Jalen Rose deliberately put his foot in Kobe's landing area during Game 2.
I don't think it's cool. I don't think I'm hard because I tried to hurt Kobe Bryant in a game. I'm disgusted by it because, you know, I wanted to win that bad that I was willing to basically cheat to do.
Despite 33 points and 13 rebounds from Shaq, the Pacers won.
He did it on purpose? Oh, lame as hell.
In Game 3. And in Game 4, they were on the brink of winning another one after Shaq fouled out in overtime. But then, Kobe, who was still nursing a bad ankle, took matters into his own hands. Bryant made 4 of his 5 shots in overtime, including a game-winning tip-in with 5 seconds to go. And even though Indiana won another game and extended the series, in Game 6, Shaq came for his Finals MVP. With 41 points and 12 rebounds, O'Neal was unstoppable, leading the Lakers to victory and the championship, with Kobe jumping into his arms as the final buzzer sounded. For the series, Shaq averaged an unreal 38 points, 16.7 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks.
Beat 40 and 16. Bruh.
Shooting 61% from the field, proving that he was the best player on the planet. His 38-point average was the 4th best scoring average ever in the NBA Finals. And considering how he also dominated the glass, how efficient he was, and that he was also a huge presence on the defensive end, this was arguably the most dominant performance ever in the NBA Finals. In 23 playoff games, Shaq averaged 30.7 points, 15.4 rebounds, 3.1 assists, and 2.4 blocks, becoming just the 4th Finals MVP who averaged over 30 points per game for the entire playoff run, joining the elite company of Jordan, Kareem, and Hakeem. Shaq also averaged just 2.4 turnovers during the playoffs, which is amazing considering the huge offensive load he was carrying every night. I've never seen anybody dominate like that, ever, Laker owner Jerry Buss said as champagne sprayed all around him. Obviously, Wilt Chamberlain was something very special, but quite honestly, Shaq played probably the best basketball any player has ever played. And while O'Neal certainly wasn't the most skilled player ever, not even amongst centers, no other player had a physical advantage like Shaq did in 2000. He also had to be guarded by 2 or even 3 players, which created a tremendous advantage for the rest of the Lakers, who basically played with one man open. If the refs called every foul on Shaq, who was beaten more than any other player in NBA history, he could have shot 20 free throws per game. But even with the fouls they did call, O'Neal still led the league in free throw attempts. And even though he only made 52% in the regular season and just 45% in the playoffs, his mere presence put the Lakers in bonus, which allowed Kobe and other Lakers to score more easily and shoot more free throws themselves. Garden Shaq is like holding up a wall. Go home, knock the foundation out of your house, and just hold up the wall. And when it's about to fall on you, that's what it's like holding up Shaq. Kevin Garnett. If you play the hypothesis game and imagine prime Shaq in today's era, he would completely change the makeup of the league, as teams would have to load up on big men just to contain Shaq and have bodies to collect fouls, as pretty much anybody who had to guard him would foul out. Players today are more skilled, and they can shoot the three, but O'Neal would have a 50 to 60 pound advantage over any center today, which would only mean one thing.
Barbecue chicken alert. Barbecue
Chicken alert. Hey, man.
2000 Shaq was a cheat code, a 345-pound monster who couldn't be stopped even if the...
Let me stop, bro. It's over with, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Is Shaquille O'Neal the most dominant player ever? Is he the best center of all time? I see people put Wilt Chamberlain over him, Kareem over him. I don't know, bro. I might gotta go Shaq, bro. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments where y'all got him ranked all the time. But look, man, like, comment, subscribe, bro. Let me know who y'all want to react to next. And I'm showing next, man. No cap.